Welcome to a new month. Our theme for this month is love in layers, and I want to start with a truth that took me a very, very long time to learn. Love is also boundaries. Do you know the uncomfortable truth about real love? Real love does not always feel soft and gentle. I learned this the hard way, through years of confusion and heartbreak. Because sometimes, love sounds like the word no, sometimes it looks like taking much needed space. And sometimes, it feels like choosing yourself, even when your heart aches to give more than it should, more than it can. Growing up, many of us were taught a very simple, almost romanticized version of love. We were told love means sacrifice. Love means endurance. Love means staying, no matter what it costs you personally. It's this idea of a bottomless well of devotion. But what no one really told us, what wasn't in the fairy tales, is that real, lasting love requires limits. It requires you to know where you end and the other person begins. I remember this period in my life where I just kept giving. I gave my time, my energy, my emotional support, without any thought for myself. I thought that's what love was. The more I gave, the more I was proving my love. But what happened? The more I gave without any boundaries, the more tired and depleted I became. What I had called love slowly, quietly, started to turn into resentment. It morphed into a deep, bone-weary exhaustion. It became this quiet emotional damage that I couldn't even put into words. I just felt empty. And that was when it finally hit me. A profound realization. Love is not just about how much you can give away. It's about how well you protect what you are building together. Because when you think about it, what is love? Love is care. Love is responsibility. Love is intention. True love wants growth, not decay. It's CRAV's safety, not constant fear and anxiety. It thrives on honesty, not a suffocating silence. And if love truly, genuinely cares about the well-being of everyone involved, then love must, without a doubt, include boundaries. Boundaries aren't cold or selfish. They are the very structure that allows care to be sustained over the long term. They are how love survives the test of time, the ups and downs, the pressures of life. I had to unlearn so much to finally understand this. Love is not giving someone endless, unconditional access to every part of you. Love is not self-abandonment, where you forget your own needs and desires. Love is not suffering in silence just to prove your loyalty. It's not about tolerating disrespect because you're terrified of losing someone. It's not about shrinking yourself, making yourself smaller and smaller, just to keep the peace. And it's definitely not about explaining your pain over and over and over again to someone who clearly benefits from ignoring it. That's not love being tested. That is love being drained, systematically. For a long, long time, I confused endurance with devotion. I really thought that staying quiet, not rocking the boat, meant I was loving better, that I was the good partner. But real love, healthy love, doesn't require you to disappear. It doesn't ask you to erase yourself. Let's clear something up. Boundaries are not walls you build to shut people out. They are not a form of punishment. And they are certainly not about control. Boundaries are about clarity. They are a clear, loving form of communication. They say, "This is how I can love you well, and this is how I can show up as my best self for you." And just as importantly, they say, "This is where I stop hurting myself in the process." When I finally started setting my first, shaky boundaries, I was so scared. I was convinced I would lose people I cared about. I thought they would see me as difficult or selfish. But what actually happened was something I never expected. The right version of people showed up. The people who were meant to be in my life respected my new clarity. Because setting boundaries isn't really about pushing people away. It's about inviting the right version of them to stay. It's an invitation for a more honest, more respectful relationship. And here's a hard but crucial truth. If someone can only remain in your life by constantly violating your limits, then they were never truly committed to loving you. They were only committed to accessing you. Their presence was conditional on your self-abandonment. Boundaries do not destroy relationships, they protect them. You know what really destroys relationships? Unspoken resentment that builds up over years, unexpressed needs that fester in the dark, a heavy, painful silence where honest conversation should be. Boundaries give love a structure, a container to feel safe in. They prevent emotional burnout. They create the necessary space for real trust and deep respect to grow and flourish. A relationship without boundaries is like a house without walls. Anything and anyone can just wander in. Nothing is protected. Nothing feels safe. Healthy love understands this. It gets that limits are not rejection. They are preservation. They are an act of love for yourself and for the relationship itself. Of course, setting boundaries can feel incredibly uncomfortable, especially at first. It's because honesty always carries a risk of conflict, and for many of us, people-pleasing has been a survival mechanism. It often feels safer to say yes than to honor our own self-respect. And yes, some people will react badly when you finally draw a line in the sand, but it's not because your boundary is wrong. It's usually because they benefited from you not having one. They were comfortable with the old dynamic where your needs didn't matter. That feeling of discomfort doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. In fact, more often than not, it means you're finally doing something necessary for your own health and well-being. Healthy love listens. Healthy love adjusts. Healthy love doesn't mock your limits or try to minimize your feelings. It doesn't make you feel guilty for having needs. Healthy love understands that a relationship between two whole, healthy people is infinitely stronger than one where one person is constantly breaking themselves into pieces just to keep things together. When love is healthy, boundaries are discussed, not punished. They are respected, not resented. And when someone truly loves you, they don't fear your boundaries. They honor them because they want you to be whole, happy, and healthy. Love is one of the most beautiful forces in the universe, but love without boundaries is dangerous. It can lead to a slow erosion of your soul. Remember this. You can love someone deeply and still say no. You can care about them immensely and still walk away from a situation that is harming you. You can be a kind, compassionate person and still fiercely protect your peace. Boundaries do not make you cold or unloving. They make your love sustainable. They ensure you have enough love left over for yourself, because the ultimate goal of love is not to lose yourself in someone else. It's to grow together, side by side, without self-destruction. So if this reflection resonated with you, I invite you to just pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and check in with yourself. Where in your life do you need clearer boundaries? Where have you been calling self-abandonment love? If this message spoke to you today, please give this video a like and subscribe for more reflections on loving in layers. And if you know someone who needs to hear this reminder, please share it with them. Remember, love is also boundaries, and that truth may be uncomfortable, but it is absolutely necessary. Thank you for being here. See you next time.